start off with some of the basic shapes. Now, we're starting off with the body. Oh, by the way, I'm using the HB pencil because it's the lightest of the pencils. We're just going to kind of look at where the head comes into the body and just really lightly draw those elements on, trying to get the curve of the feathers at the back. The reason we're drawing this really lightly is because we're going to be rubbing most of it out. But what it helps us to do is just to be able to reference where the different parts of the drawing are. And just make sure that they're the right size and the right shape for what we want to do. Now, one of the things that you can do here is use your pencil to check the angle of some of the lines in the drawing. So what I can do is just take my pencil like this. If I pull this down, I can check the angle, say the angle of this branch here, and I can hold it like this and draw it in. And sometimes you can freehand it and then just check it and just see, is that feeling right? At the drawing and really trying to copy it as strongly as you can, using little sketchy lines. Now when we come to the tail, it's really important here to really think about the different parts of the tail. So we have these different sections here, and what I like to do is just start with the center one. So this piece here, and say if we call that 1, then we're going to have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up here. If we call that 1, we're doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a small one under here, 6. So it's important at this point, with something repetitive like the tail, is to just start with kind of the angle of the central one. Try and get the curve of it like this, and then just look at how they interact. So this one that comes down here, number 2, coming down, kind of sits underneath this one and gets skinnier as it comes back in. And then the next one, again quite rounded, gets skinnier and like that. The third is a bit pointy and it's not quite as far out, so sort of more like this. The fourth is smaller again, and then the fifth is just a little baby one there. So you can see that with our proportion lines we actually came out a bit too far there, and we can also rub out some of the extra just guidelines that we drew when we were sketching in the proportion. It's worth taking the time on these things just to get them right, so that you know that the drawing itself is going to look like it's in proportion. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's just check that that's right. So if this is our middle one here, 1, this is our curvy one here, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5, 6, 6, 7, 7, and the bottom one is just a small one there. So when we come to do the tone, we're going to be looking closely at how the tone shows in these feathers that are sitting on top of each other. Now we also want to try and just get a sense of the wood here as well. So we have some grains running through it, obviously. Some of this is random texture, but there is a kind of long skinny one like this that we'll pick up. And the secret with wood or organic things like this is that they never have really straight lines. So any lines on the edge like this, just sort of texture them a bit, add a little bit of kind of messiness to the edge of the line. We also have some tone coming up here, some of the lighter moss or lichen or something happening in there. All right. Cool. So that's looking pretty good now. And what we just want to do is just go around and just tidy up those little areas that we may have drawn kind of in our fairly sketchy look, sketchy technique. Yeah, it's looking good.